Hello and welcome to Sit Still Look Pretty. Today it's cultured chic, draped in tradition. Can I just say, I just love the way Priyanka just like writes her scripts, writes the themes. It's so flawless. Love it.
Thank you. And I also feel like this topic is a very ours because I always, when I look at the way we dress and we fashion traditional outfits, I always feel like there is like a classiness to it. There's a modernized version to it. And then we look so traditional, not me blowing our own trumpets, but still, I always love the way that, you and I, when we dress up for traditional outfits, I always admire the way you and I both look. I think we always have like our own element that we bring into. Even today on the recording, I feel like Priya and I are stout with Dear Darlings. And I think Dear Darling, I really like how Maha infuses the traditional concept with the modern concept. Yeah.
And we're looking pretty chic, if I can say so myself.
That's right. In the Pushpa collection.
Having said that, I think I want to take us back in time a little bit. Talk about how our relationship with traditional clothes was when we were much younger. Were you always somebody who loved to dress up in traditional clothes? Because to be honest, it was a pain for me.
I think for myself, I loved to wear pavada satya a lot when I was younger. Like the moment I walked into Little India and then I see pavada satya like stacked up, I would naturally look at my mom and give her the look like, you better buy for me one. And for me, Deepavali from young used to be like a very big thing. So during Deepavali, I'll get so excited because I know that I have the perfect excuse to demand for like a pavada satya.
Yeah.
So to me, I loved dressing up. I loved being in traditional clothes. If anything at all, I felt very sad when I grew up and I outgrew pavada satya, because now you think about it, you cannot be dressed in like pavada satya. I'm talking about like the kids version of pavada satya. I know that there's the modernized pavada satya for adults as well. I know there is, but what I really miss is like pavada satya as a kid. I feel like you can't wear it now once you have like grown out of it, because I feel like it's so comfortable to me personally. I find it very comfortable to wear and like you look so good and cute in it. So these days I feel that every time I see a pavada satya, I'll always signal to my mom, let's buy it like for my niece. I feel like she will look so cute. But that little monkey, she's always like, I'm hot, please take this out from me, But I always like, when I'm shopping for her during Deepavali, I'll always ensure that we take something, as selfish as it sounds, resembles a little bit of me. I live through her now, But yeah, that's what I feel like traditional clothes, that's what it really meant to me during younger days. I loved being in pavada satya. I know it was different from you, and I'm curious to learn like, why was it different for you?
No, I think I relate to your niece, Janani, a little bit more in that sense. I was definitely the kid who was like, oh my God, this is too itchy. This is too hot. Please take it off of me. And like, I'm so sorry to say this, but I'm sorry, not sorry. But like, pavada satya was one of...
Like, no go.
Because I found it so like, because it's usually done in like, is it silk material or pattu material?
Yeah. Pattu. Yes,
pattu.
yes.
So it's hot and it's thick and it's like, and it itches, and I was just like,
I won't deny, because it is true what you're saying.
Yeah. So I was like, my mother would struggle to like, because she loved shopping for me, I think she was the same as you. Like, she vicariously like lived through me. So she loved adorning me in like so many like different variations of like traditional clothes ever since I was young. But I was such a nightmare child, which I regret a little bit now. I wish I soaked that up a little bit. But I was young and dumb. So I was like, no, mommy, I don't want to put it on. No, I don't want. But I think the one that I gravitate towards when I was much younger was actually like half sarees or like sarees. I don't know. It was just, when you're young, you envision like growing up as such like a cool thing.
That's true.
And I was like, I want to wear sarees and be like a grown up. So like, they will make like ready-made sarees for little kids. Like that I'm pretty sure for one of my birthdays, I begged my mom to get me like a ready-made sari. And like that was my birthday outfit for that year. And I was like just flaunting and like strutting my way. I felt so pretty that day. But how do you think it has progressed to now? And like what are the outfits that you like wearing?
Now I feel a little bit disappointed in myself in the sense of I feel like till today, you know this, a lot of people don't know this, I don't know how to tie a sari. So every time you see me in sari, there's someone behind that sari who is tying for me. Even Priya herself has tied for me sari multiple times, by the way.
You need some help, call me.
Yeah. And I feel it's a little bit embarrassing because Priya and I used to work together and we used to be part of shoots whereby we are styling someone else in traditional outfits and everything. So when they come to us and be like, can you help me to pin? Can you help me? Like, instant panic mode on my face because I'm like, shit, I don't know how to tie sari. How am I going to help these artists with? And then I look at Priya, she'll be like, come on, Naman, give me the pin. I'll pin.
Oh my God.
And then, but you'll be surprised to know the number of MediaCorp artists who do not know how to tie sari. But that aside, I feel like even for myself, I feel like till today, definitely I want to learn. But it's not that I'm lazy to learn. I feel very intimidated when I look at the amount of like cloth. And I'm like, where do I start? You know, and I know my mom has brought it up multiple times that she will teach me, but she's not a patient teacher. I feel like she'll teach me once and she'll be like, didn't I just teach you to fold it this way? And I'll be like, you know, so I feel like that part of me, I definitely want to improve. Another part of me is, till today, I feel like when I wear sari, I don't know how to walk ladylike. I mean, you know that...
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a certain like flair to your walk when you're walking in a sari. Yeah, I understand completely.
Right. Because I'm forever, very honestly, tripping over my sari. Forever, like till today, I always avoid holding my sari in hand because there's two ways, right? You either hold it or you pin it up. I will always opt for the pin up kind of a thing because I feel like when I hold, it's even worse. I feel like I'll trip even more times, you know? I love wearing it. I still do. But it's just that I feel like nowadays I lean towards linga. I feel like I'm more comfortable in linga more than I'm comfortable in sari. But I feel like I look prettier in sari, if I may say so. But yeah, what is it for you now?
I think I have a lot more fun wearing traditional clothes now. Like now I can look past the itchiness because I'm like, but I look so good. I don't care if it's itchy.
It's true.
So, you know, because I was so fascinated by like wanting to wear saris and everything when I was much younger, like I naturally had sort of like the interest to then go and learn how to tie a sari. So I tie my own saris, you know, it's very rarely that my mom steps in to help. It's usually like, you know, saris that are again like pattu or like the ones that are hard to fold.
Yes,
or crease.
Yeah.
Like I'll admit, like that's not happening, you know, anytime soon. But like a normal sari, like yeah, I can just throw it up. It's not that big of a deal. I definitely do enjoy wearing lengas a lot more. I went through sort of like a crazy like lenga period where like all the functions for that year I wanted like a lenga. But I feel like you're right in a sense that it is so comfortable. It's like already sort of like put together for you.
Yeah.
You have a top, you have a skirt, and then you have like your drape, like your shawl. It looks very like modern and traditional at like the same time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different ways you can drape it. There's a lot of like versatility to it.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like I'm also like a linga person. But I feel like as we grow older, I'm having a lot of fun combining like our Western clothing with our like traditional clothing.
I truly feel like these days, if there's anything that I feel like we should all like continue to keep up to, even though like the times are always evolving, is the traditional aspect in us. Because the truth is, in today's day and age, I feel like everything is moving forward so fast. Things are getting diluted so fast that, you know, there comes the question as to whether or not girls these days will continue to fashion the traditional Indian outfit. And when people say it's traditional Indian outfit, the one concept everybody goes to is like, oh, is she wearing sari or not? Is she carrying herself properly in a sari or not? But I feel like both of us will always stand for this thing, whereby fashion is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're dressed traditionally or whether or not it's a mixed concept. Till today, I feel like Priya and I lean more towards dressing up in like the mixed kind of like a look, you know. Even for our screening for Abhinayam, I loved how you and I had like the concept of like showing up in our traditional outfit, because I always feel like that's a part of who we are. But at the same time, I loved the vision of how like we mixed it with like to ensure it looks corporate / traditional, you know? So I feel as we become a little bit modern, it's fine to adapt. I don't think we are diluting it, in my personal opinion. I don't know how you feel about this.
I think it comes from a perspective of like somebody sitting down and going, oh, if you like wearing traditional clothes, this is the only way that you can wear it. But it doesn't work that way. I think like even before how our traditional saris look now, I'm sure like 100 years ago, the outfit looked much different. Like I'm sure our ancestors were wearing saris without blouses, and there was a certain like style that they tied it in. But it has since then progressed into the time and like the appropriate time and age, right? And I feel like that's what we are stepping into now. Like in this era, we have our own like style and ways in which we adorn like traditional clothing and pay our own respects without like, you know, losing our own flair. And I feel like that is what it is. And you're right, fashion is supposed to be like fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. You are supposed to walk out wearing something that you feel good in. I feel like if there's anybody who's sitting down there like, oh, no, this is the only way you can wear sari, you do that. Go ahead and wear. I'm so happy for you. But this is the way I want to wear my sari.
And so now all of y'all who have that concept have made Priya angry, so let's move on to the next segment. But all jokes aside, I feel like we have a fantastic guest speaker coming in today, and I think I'm so excited to hear what traditional clothes mean to her and how she embodies it in her business as well.
Today, we have with us the founder of Nayagi clothing brand, Shobana, on the hot seat. Welcome, Shobana.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shobana and I'm the founder of Nayagi.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very, very excited to speak to you because I feel like Nayagi has grown over the years as well in terms of the style and the fashion. I have personally shopped as well, and I hope to have many more in my wardrobe. And I think it's very cool to speak to you and to find out about the journey. So I want to start off by asking you a little bit about finding Nayagi as a brand for yourself.
Okay, so I'm a Kathak dancer and I only started dancing in my early 20s. So in this period, there was I had to wear a lot of ethnic wear, right? I had to wear my Punjabi suits, my anarkalis, and then there were a lot of events to attend. So there were so many saris. So that's when I started to get exposed to Indian ethnic wear. And along the way, I started thinking, okay, I want to sell saris, but I just don't want to sell it. I want to sell it behind like a brand and everything. And it was in one of these dance lessons that we were learning about the different nayikas. So, you know, the nayikas, like, you know, they experience a lot of emotions, longingness, love, you know, and all this. And in this particular one, it was vanity. So she drapes a sari and she shows off the sari, and we had that walk and everything. So the lesson ended. I went back home that night and then I'm just staring into the ceiling just before falling asleep. And then I'm like, Naika. And then I went around asking my friends and family, like, what would you think, like, Naika is a brand? And see, we are Tamils, right? So naturally they were like, they would prefer if it was a Tamil name instead. So I was like, okay, Nayagi then, like, let me call it Nayagi. Naika is the Sanskrit term, Hindi Sanskrit term, right? For heroine, the leading lady and all that. So I was like, okay, since most of the people in, I think, our country would relate to the term Nayagi better than Naika. So that's how Nayagi came about.
Another thing that I want to ask you is the thing about starting a business concept or a brand, right? The idea is always nice at the very start, for sure. But from wanting something to making it happen, I just want to find out a little bit more about that journey. So you told me that you went from asking people around you, so how does this name fit? So how did you go from the name to ensuring that, okay, now I'm going to launch it? Because I'm pretty sure there will be the nerves, right? Whether or not this will work out.
I think when the name hit me, right, and I felt like I could do this, there was that big push for me. So everything just kept getting done. Like I just kept taking action and then it just got done. I launched my first few saris and everything. It came to a point where, okay, now I don't know where's the direction. That's when the nerves kicked in. That's where the fear kicked in. So long there's inspiration, there's some creative, like, okay, I know what to do. Like, you just keep going. Like, there's no, like, fear holding you back. But when there's a pause and like maybe I'm not selling, things are not moving, then I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What else do I have to do? I think that's where the fear kicks in and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? What else do I want to bring? Because I think one of the main challenges is definitely suppliers, who you get to connect with in India, right? And from there, who you want to connect with, who you get access to, and what you want to bring in. So I think that's why I got stuck a lot in my early years. Yes. It's safe to say that the people I worked with when I first started are not the people I'm working with now.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, we've come a very long way, and now we have like our own team, like sort of my own little family back there. Like if I go to India to work there with them, it's going to be very comfortable, convenient, because relationships have progressed, and yeah.
How often do you fly back just to ensure that work? I'm so curious. You see her smiling.
I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
What's that thing they've been saying on TikTok and Instagram? We don't judge, we
We
listen.
listen and we don't judge. Yeah.
I have never been to India.
But we are listening.
Here's where it
Yeah.
changes. I'm definitely making a trip down to Kashi, Varanasi very soon next year. I've been saying it a lot, but I think I don't know what's holding me back also. I don't know. But I have to go. I mean, I've run a business with this country for 4 years, and I've successfully, to a certain extent, it has built itself.
Yeah.
And I've never been there, right? So I think to take it to the next level, I definitely have to make a trip down, and it probably has to happen a few times a year, because definitely getting things done from here, there's a lot of delays and decision making. If I'm there, tuck, 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 get this done, like, and then you get things going. So yes.
This is very exciting.
I feel like we will be celebrating for you
to go.
when we see the IG story that you make it down.
I'll definitely be vlogging that. I'll be like, guys, we're making a trip to
Yeah,
Varanasi.
it's finally happening.
Yes, correct.
Now I want to get a little bit more involved in terms of like the material and the clothes and the design, because I feel like what makes Nayagi very unique is the mixture of how y'all set apart the fact that it is traditional wear, but y'all are modernizing it very well as well. So the question I want to ask you is, what inspired you to infuse these things together, the traditional and modern wear?
Because I spotted the trend. I think that's the trend. People are looking for something different. People want to wear traditional outfits as modern clothes as well. So this year what we did was, one of the things we did was we took one of our Banaras materials. This is for our Deepavali release, and we stitched them into suits. And we added a little strap lace detail here. Okay. And it was a sellout collection. I don't even have a single piece left in the shop right now. So there was a modern element that we added to it, and that appealed to customers. So when you notice something is working, that's where you tap. That's where you tap, and like, because that's what people want these days. I think the traditional look and sarees and all, people who are attending events, our brides, it definitely still has to be there. It's a constant. It has to be there, right? But what about like for the rest of us who want to wear the cultural outfits, but with a twist? Yeah. So with fusion twists and all. So it was very relevant to do that.
Love the balance and I love the flavor.
Can you share some of the unique challenges you faced as a founder in the fashion industry and how you navigated those obstacles?
I think finding a very good team to work with in India. Initially, I kept calling them suppliers until it came to a point where this supplier I'm working with, they put in their heart and soul for Nayagi, you know? So that's when now I call them my team instead of suppliers. But there was definitely a few challenges at the beginning. I was very afraid of getting scammed or not having my orders delivered. Let's just say, of course, I got scammed. But I had a pattern of like, I always would only make a small order. I would always take a sample order. And if the sample order fails, then of course, yeah. So it's a small amount of money lost and not such a big amount. So that way I found my way and ended up with who I'm working with right now.
Can I ask, when you started off Nayagi, was it like did you go into this full time, or were you doing something else and then you started Nayagi on the side?
I'm actually a special needs teacher. I teach special needs children, yeah. So I used to teach at the Dyslexia Association, and then I left that and I've been teaching freelance ever since. So I do a lot of freelance teaching, and So, of course, even though I was a teacher for the past decade, I think when I grew up already, I had a lot of dreams about dressing up, fashion, and just being extra in life. So, Nayagi had to be that extra.
I feel like such a lovely career, like in both ways, whether it comes to Nayagi or like your freelancing. But the reason that I asked you that question is because I think whenever we step into maybe starting something of our own, the reality is like most of us will already have like our day-to-day jobs already set in place when we are setting down to explore this. But once it has progressed into the success that it has now, how do you find time to like balance it? Like when did you make the decision to say, hey, I think it's time for me to step back and freelance now and like pay a bit more attention to this? How did you go about making those decisions?
I think it's a very scary decision for me to make also. But I have just made that decision like right now, that moving forward in 2025, I would be reducing my teaching workload. It's been coming to about a year since I've had my physical store. So this whole year has been filled with lessons and so many challenges and obstacles and not knowing what to do and then knowing what to do. So many different things have happened. So now I have a better idea and a clearer plan on how I want to approach next year. They always say what you focus on expense, right?
Yeah.
So I have focused on my teaching career a lot. But I now know where I need to put my focus on. So it's going to be Nayagi.
You mentioned earlier that you guys have a physical store, right? So I want to tap on that experience because that means now you get to meet your customers in person.
Correct.
So is there like any memorable moment for you that will always remain at heart? Or it could be something that a small gesture from a customer, anything that you can mention. But I just want to dive a little more on the relationship between customers that visit Nayagi.
Okay. I think yes, of course. I really love seeing customers come in, especially when they come in looking for me. That means they are like, I know what I'm going for. I'm going straight to Nayagi because she has what I want, you know. So I love it when that happens. They come in straight and I'm like, do you have this? Or I'm looking for this, or, you know. It has been very exciting to meet my customers. And I think one particular customer I remember, she was probably a middle-aged lady, and she was telling me how much she loved sarees. And then we got into a conversation and she shared with me how she works in corporate. So at least once a week, like every Friday, if I'm not wrong, she drapes a saree to work, you know, and she showed me pictures, you know, we had some time to chat and she showed me pictures and she tells me on that Thursday night itself, she would actually pleat the sarees and iron them down. So the next morning it's easier for her, you know, so this is one way she still appreciates. And that moment I was like, God, I own a sari brand and it's something for work in progress for me. Yeah. I have showed up in sari to work when I used to work at the Dyslexia Association.
Wow.
Yes, I have. So, but those are the days where I have something to attend in the evening. Right. But I had many of those days. So I showed up to sari many, many times, I remember. You know, because I remember all the kids going, wow, so I do miss those days, but I do also understand. I did take a poll once with my followers about wearing sari to work and whether it's a possibility for them. And for a lot of them, it's something that they can try, but a lot of them is definitely a no because some of them work in uniform where they will have to wear uniforms. And for me, I also know because I'm on the move a lot. Yeah. So since I'm on the move a lot, I have to find something that will work for me material-wise. Right now, everything in my store is very festive, you know. So that's something that I told myself I have to keep in the pipeline as well. If I'm going to wear something in a sari and move around and work with it, or work with children, or in my store, or get things done. Let's say I have a shoot and I want to be in a sari. What kind of material do I want to wear and to carry myself during the day doing different tasks? So it has to be comfortable. But I'm definitely going there. I love wearing a sari. So yeah, and I think it's something that easily, you know, as you work with something more, it starts cooperating with you.
Correct.
Yeah. So saris, right? So when I see someone else struggling to do that part, and I'm like, I quickly get something done, and then I realize, oh, now you are cooperating with me also. Like the fabric is also working with me. There was a live sale I was doing, and they were showing the sari. I just put the pallu, I quickly take some pleats. And then I went back to watch the live I posted, and then I noticed that there was another customer who asked for a different colored sari. So I started looking around for colors, She asked for pink. I'm like, okay, where are all the pink saris? And then I'm taking pleats like this.
Whoa. It's like muscle memory.
Yeah.
Oh
And then I was like, oh,
that is me. Yeah.
I was impressed with myself. I was like, I think it's one of those small things that I also started realizing, actually, I put in so much time draping on mannequins that now this is a skill I have. So it's sort of like a small lesson, like what else can I do if I keep focusing on that? What else can become bigger? What else can expand? So that made me very excited. And I think, so that's why I'm like, okay, I need to focus on things that can grow, that can become bigger.
Another sub-question that I have for you,
Sure.
I want to dive a bit more on the customer experience. This is coming from a customer myself. I just want to share like a mini story that I had. I'm someone who loves to support like local brands. So when people launch like anything traditional related, I will always go down to see it for myself. And I always feel like your first impression as a customer counts, because if you don't have a good experience, we are out the door. And for myself, I'm not going to name the brand, but it was an accessory brand, okay? So when I walked in, right, the next moment I was being pounded with like, so what do you have in mind? And it was a moment of like, so I'm not even given the option to like look around and see around. It's like, show me what you want and we match accordingly. And to me, I was like, I'm out. Because like you don't even let me like have a look around and explore, you know? And I feel like customer experience in today's day and age is becoming very important, because sometimes you don't have to be paid to get your brand being shouted out on social media. It's that simple customer experience you give that it appears on social. So I want to ask you, as someone who has founded this brand and been working so hard, right? How do you ensure that when your customers come in, they get the best experience, whether or not they purchase something, they will come back again next time?
So that's definitely something I value a lot also. And when it comes to serving customers, I have to also reflect on the fact that I'm an introvert. And sometimes that, hi, hello, welcome, doesn't naturally come. It's also sometimes based on how I'm feeling also. But I can't always depend on how I feel to serve my customers. So when it comes to customer experience in my store, there's definitely the freedom. I allow them to look around. If they want me to be part of their looking around, then I will go in. If they don't want me to be a part of their looking around, the moment they say, we're just looking around, I say, go ahead, feel free, you know. But at the same time, the one thing I have always reminded myself is, if a customer doesn't buy anything, right, and they were to maybe look around for a long time, there's a lot of things tried and they don't like it, send them off with a smile. Still say thank you and send them off with a smile. I know the frustration is real, like, right? Of course,
yes.
From a business point of view, like you wanted to close a sale, but this is something like, if you go to my Instagram, the description on top, right? I put there a safe space. And that's because I want a safe space too, right? So I want my customers to come in and feel safe and like be able to freely shop without being judged, or have the freedom to speak to me or my mom, who also mends the store, or my staff. I have some part-time staff that I've recently hired, and to speak to them with ease. And even if there's nothing to be easily to leave. If another day they want to come back, they'll be like, oh yeah, I can go here. And not like, oh, I'm uncomfortable to go there. So I think that's the one thing. Regardless of a sale, I want people who step into the store to feel comfortable.
The next question is a juicy question.
Okay.
Could you share with us a sneak peek or insight into any upcoming collections that is coming up next for Nayagi?
I think one sneak peek I can give is that you can expect a lot of fusion twists to all our very traditional materials, the Banaras material, the Jaipur block print materials. So you can expect fusion twists and something that you can wear on a daily basis or when you go party with your friends.
Well, party with friends sounds very exciting. I took on that word. I was like, wow.
One more thing would be, we would be hosting live sales from Varanasi itself, from where the saris are, so you get to see a lot more options and purchase directly on the live, from Varanasi itself. So
that is very cool.
Yes,
cool.
Yes.
We shall also look forward to the vlog that is to
definitely.
be aired of Shobana's first trip to India.
Not holiday, but work.
Thank you so much, Shobana, for joining us today. I don't know whether you saw it. We had like a blast, like asking you questions and digging deeper into your brand. definitely shopping with you, and I feel
you.
like you are on a very good runway for 2025.
Absolutely.
And you have our support
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you, Shobana.
Thank you so much. It was absolutely lovely chatting with you, ladies. Thank you for making me feel so comfortable despite my jitters and all that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And with that, it's time to close the episode. So, Miss Priyanka, are you ready with the quote of the month?
Yes, I'm ready. I really like the quote of the month, but here it goes. If we look at the path, we do not see the sky. We are earth people on a spiritual journey to the stars. Our quest, our earth walk, is to look within, to know who we are, to see that we are connected to all things, that there's no separation, only in the mind.
All right. And with that, we will catch you with another cup of tea in the next episode. It's Priya
And Priyanka.
on Sit Still Look Pretty, because girl, you're more than a quick gaze.